Hello, Ron Ramsden here, DYB coach and also painting contractor for the last 17 years, located here in northern Massachusetts. Condominium association painting and work. There's tons of it right there. I'm going to tell you how I broke into the condominium association market, some of the tips that we did to get to that front door and to be able to bid on some of those large properties. They can be a gold mine for some, and for some other ones, it's going to suck up a lot of your resources and energy. So make sure you know what you're doing, you're going into it. So, homeowners association, HOAs, some of them are managed by a property manager, some of them are self-managed. We have condominium condos, a condo association run by a property manager. The condominium association will have a board of anywhere between 3 and 7 members. They'll talk about finance, they'll talk about maintenance, they'll talk about long-term goals. They'll do some planning for the next 3 to 5 years. Those are the ones we love to talk to. And then the property managers, they could manage anywhere from 20 to 100 properties. And a property can consist of 300 units. In fact, one of our latest bids for them was $260-something thousand, just the stained decks. That's a pretty good bid. But it also takes up a lot of resources if you do win something like that. But I want to tell you about different ways we got into the property managers, and we end up dealing with about 5 property managers at one time. Might not sound a lot to some, but 5 property managers take care of about 400 developments. So anyways, some of the ways that we get in, you drive by these and you always wonder, how did the people get to working with those? Well, as we found our little niche there, we personally don't like painting the big units. We like doing all the little stuff. So anyways, little stuff to us might be painting 100 doors. So anyways, how do you get into it? First, you ask everybody. You ever working on a condo, you ask that person, who manages this? Do you have any contact information? Do a soft touch. Maybe send a card, maybe introduction. Phone calls don't always get accepted, but we like to, a nice personalized handwritten note. Stop in. Sometimes they say no soliciting. Maybe you want to stop in. We stop in with pies. The people in the property management, they usually have a great staff there. And they're happy to see us when we walk in with pies. First time we walk in, if it's a brand new property manager, we'd walk in with a couple pies. One of our other clients actually makes fresh baked apple pies. We'll walk in with a few of them, with a little note on it, and just say, just wanted to stop in, introduce ourselves, and we want to leave these for you. No one's ever said no to our fresh baked apple pies. So that's a nice way to get your foot in the door, but you got to continuously be in front of them. Then you send them a thank you card. Then you bring them more pies 2 weeks later. And 2 weeks later, you bring them more pies. Eventually, they're going to call you when they need something to happen. Also, in the lobby of every condo association, you might go in before you even get, because there's double doors, there's a contact information sign there. It might say ABC for emergency contact, and then they'll have the little card. So what I'll do is I used to go in there and just take a picture of it with my phone. I just have all the information. I'll go and then I'll have someone to contact. Because those property managers change often. In fact, one of our properties that we manage has gone through 4 property managers. The original property manager 4 times ago is now the property manager again. And we were able to, because the condominium association board liked us so much, we were able to stay with that property, and now we work for all the different property managers in some small or some large projects. So, lobby. Also, customers, like I mentioned, any condo that you're working in, ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. All they can say is, I don't know. But what if they're on the board? That's a great thing. Also, networking. One of my larger property managers, I was in a networking event, and I'll touch base on this on one of our other videos that we're going to be producing soon, is about networking. I asked if anybody was, and I was turned on to a property manager. On our second year, we did $360,000 for that property manager. So if you don't ask, you don't get in this world. So remember, ask. Also, pop-ins. Those are the stopping in the property management. They're not always thrilled to see you. But if you just stop in, drop something off, Don't ask to talk to anybody, but I'll tell you, if you bring them something sweet, you'll be a hero. Apple pies for me. I know cookies work, Danish, some candies, whatever it may be. Let them know you're there, but be consistent with them. They have headaches they need taken care of, and that's where I want to go now. When I stop in there and I finally get to talk to someone, I don't ask to paint. I need to paint the lobbies. We need interior paint. That will come in time. One of the biggest property managers told me when I asked what I could do for them, they told me, get rid of my headaches. When this is my headache guy over here. See my headache guy? I don't know how to draw a headache guy. But anyways, get rid of my headaches. So which means is when he gets these calls and there's a water damage, the plumber cut some holes in the ceiling and they need to be replaced, they're in the lobby, I can't wait 3 months for your schedule. I need them done now. If you bend over backwards and make time in your schedule for those little things, the big things will come. I started painting a sign. We did mailboxes. We eventually did some, I think it was 70 or 90 doors at one of the properties. Then we refinished doors. And then we got called for the fun stuff. Hey, when you have time, can you paint the pool house? Hey, when you have time, can you power wash 30 decks? When you have time, can you do this? Excuse me. It happens. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you slowly start that ball rolling, it's going to start rolling real fast downhill. Also, Facebook. We'll put out some videos and we'll target property managers. You can target them in your Facebook ads. Do that. Condominium associations, Facebook ads. That'll only get in front of some of the people. They might not call you on day one, but they'll eventually recognize that name. Also, gated communities. They'll have that check-in guard who stands there, sits there, not all the time. Some of it's a key card, but sometimes there's a guard who's there. Stop in and ask them. On a hot day, have some cold waters in a cooler in your car. Maybe you're stopping by some of your crews anyways, you want to drop some off. Ask the guard if he'd like one. Some of these guys are just dying to talk to somebody. You know, you stop in there and then after a little brief conversation, hey, ask him, by the way, do you know who manages this place? Of course he knows who manages it. He works there. See if you can get some information out of him. Great way. But also, stop in a couple of times. You'll slowly get on his nice spot, and you might never know what he knows, who's walking through those doors. And then also, one of the other ones that we get right down here is the landscapers. Those landscapers, they're like ants. They're everywhere on a piece of property. So what we like to do is we like to touch base with the landscapers. We see someone there who could possibly be in charge. We'll stop over. Sorry, my dog just walked by. We'll stop over and we'll chat with them. And eventually, someone will know someone. Someone will know who manages this property, and we'll get in front of them. We actually had one time when we stopped in, we were talking to a landscaper, and the property manager drove up. Great introduction, was able to talk to them, and get rid of their headaches. They'll feed you some more work. One of the things with the property managers, though, you want to make sure, this is the tip, you want to make sure you can handle what they're giving you. A lot of times they might have something huge. If you dedicate your entire company to wash or to paint 20, 30, 40 units, what else are you going to be missing out on? So make sure your resources are in line for the project you're going to do. That is a big resource for us, and we want to make sure that you don't overbite, take out a bite too much for what you need. So anyways, property managers have been great for us. Great residual income because we are in some of them a 6 year turnarounds for the property. Every year we go in and we paint so many units. It works out great. Also, just thought this off the top of my head. Property manager, one of the other things we offer them to do is to, if they're not having things painted, they still need pricing. They need some budgets put in place. We will then form a painting budget for them, work through all their property, give them a budget for 2 or 3 years. We're not committed to them. We haven't signed a contract. We're just giving them budgeted prices to paint something in the next few years. That's so they can allot some money in their budget and put it away and things like that. So anyways, you become that person, you will be gold to them, and they'll reward you eventually with some work. I'm Ron Ramsden. I'm a DYB coach, also a painting contractor here in northern Massachusetts. I help painting contractors work on the business so they can stay out of their bucket. Thank you. Please leave a comment. You can reach me at ron@dybcoach.com if you have anything you want to talk about. Please subscribe to our channel and watch for the rest of our videos. Have a great day.